Hey, good morning, Eastern Oregon, and welcome to this June 27th version of AM Live on EOA, your connection to Eastern Oregon, and we're on the EOA network. And glad you're here with us. Here in a little bit, we're going to have Celeste Tate, who is one of the board members of Buffalo, the Thunder at the Peak event that's coming up on the 4th of July. She's also the Union City manager. So, how are you, man?
Morning. Going.
Yeah.
First Friday.
I know it.
We're almost there to the weekend. Before we get rolling, let me talk about this real fast. The Union County Sheriff Office is alerting residents about a scam involving fraudulent text messages. It's all about concealed handgun licenses. So if you get a text claiming your CHL is expiring soon and a request to complete and submit a form, that's not them. The Union County Sheriff's Office says that these messages are definitely a scam, and they only notify concealed handgun license holders of impending expiration through email. So that's a message from Union County Sheriffs.
All right.
Yeah, easy,
Good.
easy.
Hey, Gabe, I think
Easy,
your
easy.
your button is locked down.
Yeah, you're echoing.
Getting a weird echo. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Yeah. You can't see behind the scenes, but there are times when we can hear ourselves in the little earpiece, and it's like just a fraction of a second behind it. Yeah, and it's like it is
terrible.
It's terribly hard to think about anything else except how obnoxious.
I wasn't hearing me though. I was only hearing you when you were talking. That was really weird. Really weird.
Yeah.
Really weird. We're
Yeah.
already almost done with June.
I know it. That's crazy.
My goodness. Wow.
Yep. Here we go.
Yeah.
So
Rock and roll.
yeah. Well, hey, you want to do sports?
Let's do it.
All right.
AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. They got a great selection of beds and mattresses. Make your house a home. Northwest Furniture and Mattress. Big Red Rocking Chair on Elm off Adams and LeGrand. First off, let's talk about LeGrand Legion, the baseball team, the LeGrand Legacy. They play today in Walla Walla at 5 o'clock against the Washington Rush. And then they turn around and play tomorrow against the Timberline Gems at 3, and then the Walla Walla Bruins at 5:30 at Walla Walla Community College. And then throughout the weekend, they'll be placed into brackets based on how they do in those 3 games. And I finally got a schedule. They don't really run a real schedule, but Coach McKinley, he sent me, he put me in the email loop, so I'm getting all the information now. It's been kind of a process. Coach McKinley's kind of back, kind of not. He's doing, he's kind of running the ship from afar, but getting there when he can because of everything that's gone on with his son. I spent a while on the phone with him yesterday, and he's in good spirits for the most part. Football's the next sport coming up, and I can't wait. There's a new offensive coordinator at EOU, and I'll definitely have him on the show before the start of the season. And we'll talk EOU football. The expectations are high. Quincy Glasper, the Central Washington transfer that started at quarterback and pretty much played the whole year last year, is coming back for his senior year, and he's exciting. And there's a lot to look forward to this year with the EOU football team. I really do have high expectations. We need 500 or better this year, and I think it's definitely attainable. Before that, though, we have the 2024 Oregon East-West Shrine Game. That's 1 month away from today. We will be giving away some tickets in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned, and I'll keep you guys informed as soon as I get them. Ty McLaughlin from Elgin is the lone representative from the Valley that's going to play in the game. He's also a state champion wrestler, and he'll join me in studio next week, so we'll get to hear from Ty before the game and kind of see where he's at and what's going on with him and what he's doing next year. And it should be really exciting. We're also still looking for advertisers to advertise in this year's regionally broadcast game that's seen all over the state. It's only 1 month away. Here's my play-by-play guy, Willie Mack, with a message about advertising.
Hello there. My name is William McLaughlin, and I am the play-by-play announcer for this year's EOA Live sports broadcast of the Oregon East-West Shrine All-Star Football Game. This is my 4th consecutive year doing this, and it is truly an honor. This game means a lot to me, not just because it showcases great athletes from around the state of Oregon, but also because I was once a patient of Shriners Hospital for Children. Shriners' motto is love to the rescue, and they truly mean that. The work they do for children is truly amazing, and it makes a difference. Trust me, I know from personal experience. If your business is interested in being a game day sponsor for this year's game on July 27th, reach out to EOA TV today. We offer multiple sponsorships, including game title sponsor, game sponsor, quarter sponsor, replay sponsor, and more. Consider being a sponsor today. Not only does it go to a great cause, but it's also a great way to promote your business throughout the region and on the only broadcast of the East-West Shrine All-Star Football Game.
And okay, so I know I don't usually talk about sports besides for like right here in Eastern Oregon, but the Olympics is like one of my favorite times a year, especially the Summer Olympics, and we are roughly 1 month away from that as well. July 26th through August 11th is the Olympics, and if anybody paid any attention to the Olympic trials, this Olympics is going to be really good. Awesome wrestling. You saw the 16-year-old kid make the 4x400. It's Quincy Williams, and it's crazy, man. It's going to be a really good Summer Olympics. Cade's Courage. I'm going to talk about it every show. That's the QR code for the GoFundMe for the McKinley family. Cade's going to be a sophomore 3-sport athlete at LeGrand, and he's battling a form of Ewing sarcoma cancer, and the family could use some help. If you can, scan that code and donate to their GoFundMe, or if you're not a GoFundMe person, U.S. Bank here in LeGrand has an account set up under the Cade's Courage or the McKinley family, and donate if you can. I also have a bunch of these bracelets left that I'm giving out still too, and they say, "You got this." There's a baseball, some wrestlers, a cross, Cade's Courage, and a tiger. They're pretty cool. So if you want to support them in that way, just by showing that, wearing one of these, drop me a message or stop by the studio and I'll hook you up. AM Sports Report brought to you by Northwest Furniture and Mattress. They want to make you comfortable in your own home.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite, what do you really like about the Summer Olympics? What sports?
Everything.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, well, I don't like all the dumb stuff. Like, I don't even know if, like, fencing and stuff like that. Swimming's not my favorite. I mean,
Yeah.
I like wrestling.
Yeah.
I like track and field.
Okay.
Basketball is always fun.
Yeah.
I mean, we get to see the best players in the world in basketball. What else happens in the summer now? Softball, baseball?
Yeah.
Softball, no baseball, right? I think softball's back.
I don't know. Soccer?
No.
Did you
There's
mention
no
soccer?
There's no soccer in the Olympics.
Yeah, there is.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because there was a, I don't know, I saw a news report about some
That's how little I know
soccer.
about that. Yeah. I thought there was
some
just the
female
World Cup.
soccer player that they thought was going to be on the team.
Oh, okay.
but
Yeah,
was
there
not.
probably is. You're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I don't really pay attention to soccer.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's just, it's hard to watch soccer on TV for me.
Yeah, and where are they at this year?
I think they're in,
I mean, the Olympics. Where is it at?
Paris?
Paris, France.
I think so.
Yeah.
Sounds right. Yeah, we had a girl from LeGrand who's an athletic trainer. She's been on my show before, Jenny Mapes.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny Brogdon, formerly, her dad's a coach up at EOU. And she was a high jumper at U of O. And now she's an athletic trainer. And she got to do the Olympic trials. And she just missed getting to go to the Olympics. Like she's trying. That's her goal.
Yeah.
And so she got to do the Olympic trials for wrestling. And she really, I mean, I think that's her, like, top of the mountain for an athletic trainer, right? The Olympics.
Right. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, I would think so too. But it's kind of cool. She's been on the show before. She was one of the Tiger legends that I had on a couple years ago, and she was a heck of an athlete. She's really good high jumper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love, I mean, high jumping and pole vaulting is just so fascinating to me. I mean, just the mechanics of it all. It's like
pole vaulting's different, man.
I mean,
That's
it's
crazy.
it's like you did what? I mean, it just seems unbelievable every time you see it. It's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think pole vaulting's on a different level than high jumping just because you're involving a...
Well, no, without a doubt.
You're
but
way
still,
up
even
there.
high jumping is just crazy to me. You know what they do with their bodies, and it's just like,
To get over the bar.
Yeah.
Bendy.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. What do they call that? The flop. It was something berry flop. It was named after the dude who invented it back in the 70s.
Huh.
Yeah, that move. Because before then,
They were going over face first. Yeah.
they were scissoring or something. Yeah. You know, and that's how, when I was in elementary school, I mean, I loved high jumping, but, you know, you'd scissor it. You'd figure out how to scissor it.
I've never been I never did any track and field or anything.
Yeah.
It's during baseball season, so it's like there's no.
Yeah.
There was never any opportunity for me because I was playing baseball for sure.
Yeah. So when I was a kid and we would high jump, they would use like a bamboo reed or a bamboo. That was the bar. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sits up on the stanchions.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
jump over.
but yeah, so that was, I don't know, and that was always the thing is like, yeah, okay, well, you couldn't high jump because, of course, every time you'd miss, the thing would, you know, it would bend, it would get split and get in worse and worse shape. And
Yeah, they don't use the bar in practice anymore.
They don't? What do they
They
do?
use bands because
Oh.
they don't fall.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing for pole vaulting.
Like a
They don't
band,
put the bar
like a
up
rubber
until
type band.
competition. Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't have to keep resetting the bar. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I only know that because I saw it at EOU a few times.
Yeah. Well, and that was the other thing is that, you know, I mean, the very first time that I saw a 4-foot pad, you know, thick is like, I mean, we used to land in a sand pit. That was, you know, that was
High
that was the
jumping
cushion.
into a sand pit?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. That
Like
was-
even with the ground.
no, it was dug out a little bit, but
Oh.
it was, I mean, there was like, you know, 6 or 8 inches of sand. That's what you jumped into.
Man.
That encouraged
You're
you
so old, they didn't even have pads back then?
No, that encouraged you to try and land. Well, this is old, and in Wyoming, yeah, Wyoming wasn't really known for
They
their,
used the
their
buffalo skin to land on? They stacked up some buffalo skins.
Yeah,
and you
that's
just
right.
Dive head first in your cowboy boots.
Yeah, well, that was an incentive to land on your feet. Trust me. So yeah,
How do you land on your feet high jumping?
if you scissor, I mean, have you ever?
I've never, I don't even know it. I mean, I would imagine that means going over like,
No, so you
Like you're
throw
hurdling?
one leg up and it carries you up, and then when you're at the top of the bar, you scissor your legs and you land. Yeah.
interesting. I've never seen that.
But so we would do that in high jumping, but we were never brave enough to try and actually do that like a chain link fence or something like that, even though we were jumping about the same heights, because the cost of missing was a whole lot more severe than jumping over a bamboo stick.
Bud says it's the Fosbury flop.
Yes. Yeah, right, that's it.
But you weren't a high jumper. Come on, man.
No, but that dude was famous there. I mean, I think he was in the Olympics and set one of the world records, you know, because he was able to jump higher with that particular move. I mean, and so then everybody's like, what did he just do? We got to start using that. Yeah. He changed the sport of high jumping.
Interesting.
There we go. Yeah. But now
Very interesting.
Bud is a little older than I, so I have to, you know, so we can say that he's the one that jumped into buffalo skins.
I think Bud's class is 72. I think. If I remember right. Bud, is that right?
Yeah. When
Bud
did he
said they
graduate
used
from high
me for
school?
the bar.
Yeah.
I think Bud's class is 72. I
Like
somewhere
high school,
right
72?
around there.
Yeah.
I'm close, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think he was out of high school when they won the state championship, and that was 74. So I think he is class of 72.
He'll
but-
tell us here in a second.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm baiting him into it.
All right. Okay. So, well, let's look at the weather, and it's kind of overcast. It's not supposed to get. I mean, I thought it was beautiful this morning because it wasn't too hot.
It's kinda muggy
class of
out there.
72.
And they used sawdust. They were a little more high class than Wyoming, apparently.
Well,
Sawdust is softer than
they
sand,
had,
dude.
They had sawdust. I mean, this is Eastern Oregon, so
Yeah.
sawdust is a commodity you can find.
I'd rather land in sawdust than sand.
I absolutely agree. Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, let's look at the weather graphic. See what we got here. So 70 today, 46 tonight.
Ugh.
Yeah, 79 tomorrow.
What's going on
83 Saturday, 79. So it's going to be close to the 80s for the next several days.
Except for today.
Right.
Which we can't get any consistency with the weather. Yesterday
Yeah.
it was like hot. And then today,
Yeah,
like, I almost put on a sweatshirt.
almost. But you're wearing shorts.
Yeah, I know. I would have wore a sweat. I'll wear a sweatshirt and shorts.
I know.
When I'm walking to work, but I carried the sweatshirt downstairs with me, so I didn't have to go, because I wanted to go outside and test the waters first. So I put it at the bottom of the stairs, and then I went outside, and I'm like, yeah, I can handle this. So I just left it. I didn't want to have to haul
Go all the way
the
back up.
stairs to get my sweatshirt. Yeah, that's lazy, but oh well.
Oh, well. All right. Well, hey, so Celeste Tate, who is one of the board members of Thunder at the Peak, the 4th of July event that is coming up at Buffalo Peak in Union. She's going to be with us here in just a minute, and we'll be right back right after this.
Fourth of July is literally around the corner, and if you haven't been to Buffalo Peak for Thunder at the Peak, you're missing out. Thunder at the Peak is the only fireworks show in the valley. It kicks off with a cornhole tournament at the Baptist Church at 5 p.m., followed by vendors in downtown Union from 6 to 9. Then make your way up to the golf course for plenty of music and camaraderie, with the fireworks kicking off at dark. EOA Live is proud to partner with Buffalo Peak, and we'll be live streaming the fireworks for the 4th consecutive year on our network. Bring the thunder this 4th of July and meet me at the peak.
R-O.
Okay.
It's okay. It
That
happens.
just gives me ammo to pick on.
All right, we're back. Celeste, how are you today?
Good.
Good.
How are
and
you?
I'm doing great. We're glad you're here with us today. I think that you were kind of recruited to come and talk about today.
Yes.
Right. And so it's like, well, let's have Celeste do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you are you're the city manager of the city of Union.
Yes.
And then you're also a board member on this event, Thunder at the Peak.
Mm-hmm.
And so glad that you're here with us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Glad to
And
be
we'll
here.
just kind of talk about all things Union,
All
the city
right.
of Union, which is
Okay.
awesome. Yeah. So I guess let's start with the event
Okay.
and how long have you been a part of this particular? Did you became city manager not too long ago?
Yes.
Is that kind of when you jumped into this pool?
Yes,
All right.
that is correct. So
Yeah.
I haven't been through the event from start to finish yet. So we'll see on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
But I hear it's wonderful, fabulous. It's been in Union for about 6 years.
Yeah.
Prior to that, for many years, it was at Eastern Oregon University.
Right.
And then they were making plans to have a new building, and so they asked Union to take it on.
Yeah.
So it's been in Union for about 6 years.
Yeah. And from the standpoint of the public, like, it was a loss for us. I mean, it was like, because, I mean, it was
Yeah.
super
Oh, for
convenient
sure.
and we loved it. It was you know how tradition is and stuff. But Union has really stepped up and made that an event. And not just that when it gets dark event, but
Yeah.
but for the whole, I mean, so talk about the day and what the city of Union has planned for that particular event.
Okay. Well, there's going to be a cornhole tournament at the Baptist Church there. There's going to be vendors on Main Street. There will be, food and music and, of course, the fireworks in the evening. But lots of things for families to do, and I think it's going to be great weather, and so I encourage people to come out.
Yeah, and we EO Live we're one of the main sponsors of the event, and we're really happy to be able to do that. And for those people that don't make it out, we stream that on our network where people can see that. In fact, some of the fireworks in that commercial that we just saw are from
That was the grand finale from last year.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and so that's a fun thing for us to do, and it's for people that don't know, you actually park in the neighborhood below the
Sure.
golf course, right?
Right.
And then make your way. It's a little bit of a walk, but there also are golf carts for those people that want to ride. So there's people, golf carts. So there's just people making the circuit to give people a ride to the top of the hill. And then there's
Yeah,
also
that's very nice.
last year they had a shuttle. I'm trying to think, at the senior center, and have they,
Yeah, I believe the shuttle is still running this year.
yeah,
as
yeah.
well,
So there's just a number of ways for people. Even if they don't want to drive their car out there, they can jump on the shuttle in LeGrand and get it. And the cool thing about the shuttle is that it dumps people right at the top of the hill, and then they get back on the shuttle and take off. So no, it's just super cool event.
Yeah.
So. And it is just beautiful. You've been out there. I think you've been out there more than I have. There was one of the 4th of Julys that I missed.
I think this will be year 4 of us streaming it.
I think so too.
I think so. Yeah.
And
It's
where you
nice.
sit,
I
tell
go all the way up to 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So Benny and I, we'll take a golf cart up to 1, set the camera up on the tee box, away from everybody.
Well, last time you took the van up, so you had.
Oh yeah, we did take
Yeah,
the van, didn't
yeah.
we? We took the van all the way up. But Dana gives us a golf cart and we go cruise around town. And
Right. Yeah. You can shuttle back and forth. Yeah.
yeah, one of the things that I would like to see with Thunder at the Peak is get back to live music. I want live music. Like I don't like there's somebody sitting there playing through speakers. Like I want, like back in the days at EOU, my guys, I'm gonna say them again, Wasteland Kings performed a lot at the fireworks, and we have plenty of local talent. Like let's start exposing some of these people.
Yeah.
It would
Well,
be cool.
and we like that for the streaming aspect too,
Yeah.
because when we're streaming, anything that's pre-recorded, anything that's canned, the algorithms of Facebook or YouTube or whomever, there's several platforms that we use simultaneously, that their robots listen to that music and they'll
Sure.
flag it right off. But
Yeah.
Almost automatically too.
but live music is very seldom.
Yeah,
ever
they're a little more. It's a little harder for the robots to tell when it's live, I think.
Yeah, although what's funny is that it is hard. But one time I was streaming the Messiah, and this was the local choir and orchestra that was doing it, and they got to the Hallelujah chorus, and right in the middle of the stream, the Sony robot said, "Hey, I think this is one of our tunes," and so the live performance was close enough to the Sony recording of the music
Wow.
that it flagged it. Yeah, and so, and of course I had a chance to I was aggravated because I got this indication right in the middle of the stream, and there's a place where you can appeal it, and Sony was the Messiah is in public domain, and so you can't, anybody can record that and distribute that recording in any manner that they want. Sony was saying we think this is one of our recordings. That was their thing. And so then in the appeal, I just put, prove it, submit, and because it was clearly this was a live performance and they thought it was a recording. And so, but very seldom do you have somebody that's performing a piece that is similar enough to the actual. There's probably some cover clubs out there that can do
Possibly, right?
some songs. But anyhow, yeah.
Well, I will definitely take that to. the
Yeah,
group.
Dana's watching.
Yeah.
He just said we can certainly have live music,
Yeah.
and I know we can. We just need to I think we need to try to make that happen in the next year or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, like you might be able to get somebody to donate or, pay them a little bit. So
Sure.
what? It's like when you think about the cost of the fireworks and everything, I mean, what's
Yeah.
$500 to have a band come play or something?
Yeah.
Well, and you could even have, I mean, so the period of time that everybody is gathering to the time the fireworks, I mean, that can be a couple of hours.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
have them do
so
a-
you could have
a
you
couple,
could
yeah.
have multiple bands that are be a part of that. Yeah.
It
So
would be, I think it would just bring a whole nother dimension. And then one of my other things that I've talked with Dana. Dana's one of my good friends. We talk a lot, and I think that eventually we got to figure out a way to have like food up there, up at the.
We have had at least one food truck that has been at the golf course.
Oh yeah,
Past.
lately,
Yeah.
I'm talking about during 4th of July. Like
Gotcha.
all the vendors are down in
Right,
town, right?
right.
I think we need to like figure out a way to get people. But they do have like the I think the 4-H kids do like a barbecue up top.
Okay.
But I mean, I think it would be awesome if we could have like we have some food trucks around here now. We have some places that are willing to go out there and set something up. Maybe get 2 or 3 different little places and put them like somewhere like up top where if it's right before the fireworks and you need a chili dog, somebody got a chili dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
yeah, no, it's or the food truck can be downtown during the day, and then
Yeah, move up.
yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
that's not totally easy for those folks, but that certainly.
Or they could just set up there. I mean,
Yeah.
because there's people up there. I mean, I'm not sure what time the gates open per se, but I mean, there's people milling around from about 6 o'clock on. I mean, not like a lot of people, but once you get to, getting a little bit closer, people are getting there to get their spot, man.
Yeah.
And they don't, you can't bring in obviously you can't bring in alcohol and stuff like that, but there is the opportunity. I do believe you can go inside the pro shop, if I remember right, or on the porch. And Dana, correct me if I'm wrong, and get a drink.
Yeah.
I think you can.
Yeah.
And I think that started maybe last year or the year before, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. No, and it is, the golf course itself during that event. I mean, it is just a beautiful atmosphere. I mean, it is just gorgeous.
We've had really good weather too.
We've had really good. Yeah, we've been really fortunate. But I mean, it is the sun setting, and you can see all of the, all of the contour of the course, and I mean, it is just beautiful. And bless his heart, Dana and their crew. I mean, people can sit wherever they want, and so they're kind of perched on the top of hills or on greens or whatever the case might be, I mean, I don't think their maintenance to recover is too bad,
No.
They don't, but they don't want somebody planting a spike umbrella in the middle of the green. But
No, I think people understand that it's a golf course and they respect it
Yeah.
for the most part.
But no, and the kids, I mean, during that time before the golf course, I mean, the kids are running around and they're playing frisbee, and I mean, just all of the kind of things that families do at a park when they're just hanging around waiting for something to begin. So no, it's a really cool event. So
Is there anything new this year? Like, is there anything that we need to be on the lookout for that you know of, Celeste?
I'm not for sure what are the new events because I wasn't involved last year.
Right.
Did they have the cornhole
Yes.
tournament last year?
Yep,
Okay.
and
All
the
right.
vendors.
Okay. Yeah. Then
so-
I'm not sure.
But I want to say like last year and the year before there was like a reenactment going on during the day too, and I don't know if that's
Oh,
happening.
yes. I don't believe that that's happening this year, the reenactment of the bank robbery.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe that that's happening this year. I haven't-
And Dana just commented no alcohol, so I was wrong. I didn't know. I don't drink, so I wouldn't really know. I would just kind of.
But I would imagine, I mean, often the museum in downtown Union is open during that time, and
Yeah.
and so there's an opportunity for people to come and go through the museum and hang out. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's great shops downtown.
really, yeah,
Yeah.
there is.
Do they all stay open during
I-
that time?
Yeah, not when the fireworks
No,
are going,
but
but
like,
during the
are
day.
they planning on
yes.
staying open till
Yeah.
9 o'clock, like when the vendors are? Because
9
it says
o'clock in the
vendors
evening.
6 to 9.
Oh.
It doesn't get
yeah.
dark till 10.
Right,
Like, they aren't
yeah.
starting those fireworks till after 10.
I'm not sure that they're going to be open until 9, but I know that they'll be open in the afternoon. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. I'm sure Rattletail Coffee is. I call them out because they're just really good people. They're the new owners of that store, maybe 6 months or so. I'm trying to remember. And, super motivated to serve and do their thing. And John and I can't remember his wife's name, but anyhow, really good people. And so,
Speaking of rattles,
yeah.
last year when I was up there, I was going up to one. I was in the golf cart,
Yeah.
and there was a rattlesnake that went all the way across the cart path.
Really?
Scared and JD was up there with us, just talking, and
Yeah.
he was riding with me, and he's like, "Why didn't you run over it?" I said, "You run over it." No, I'm not running over a rattlesnake, man. That thing will jump up and get you. No. So there's that. It's not a myth about rattlesnakes out there. I
Yeah.
promise you. I've seen 2 now.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Yeah, last summer I was at a picnic and we were on a concrete slab, and with a picnic table, and all of a sudden, there was probably 15 or 20 of us at this little event, and there was this little snake, and I thought it was a baby snake, and I was sure it was just a garter, because it was slithering, and I reached down to pick it up by the tail, and just as I got to it, he curled up. It was like, that's not like a rattler,
Well, garter snakes will do that too.
Yeah.
That's their defense mechanism.
Well,
is
and
they
then
acting like
acting
a
like it,
rattlesnake.
yeah. Well, then I looked closer, no, this is a baby rattler.
No, I'm not messing with it.
So Celeste, let's kind of shift to Union City news. So,
Okay.
how did you tell me briefly how you got to become the Union City manager? How did that journey happen?
Well, I was working for the college in Pendleton at the time. I had worked there for 11 years or so. My son was going to school in Elgin, so I was traveling back and forth. And so I looked to see if there were opportunities on this side of the mountain, and saw that Union was looking for a city administrator, so put my name in the hat.
Well, okay. Yeah. And when did you start with that?
January 8th or something. So
Yeah.
beginning of January.
So what's it like being a city manager? Because and to define that a little bit, so the city manager in most of the governments around here, they're kind of the boss of the police department and public works, and they are the person that all of those different departments are accountable directly to the city manager. Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. That's correct.
Yeah.
I have a great city council
Right.
in Union. They really care about the town and really put in the extra effort to bring about positive change in the
Yeah.
city. So Susan, the mayor, Susan Hawkins, she's wonderful to work with. It's been a great experience. Lots of variety. No 2 days are the same.
I'll
You
bet.
never know what you're going to be doing that day.
Yeah.
You might have a list of things that you want to get done, and it might be completely different.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Well, good. And before you were the CFO, Chief
Yes.
Financial Officer at Blue Mountain Community. Is that
Correct.
right? Yeah. Wow. And that's got to be a little bit of a shift from education to city.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still working with the public. It's still bringing about positive change in the community.
Yeah.
The community college does a lot for the community in helping to increase education, and the same is true of a city. We are serving the public and making the community better. So,
Yeah. So is finance kind of your background? There's a lot of times that
Yes.
somebody will be an accountant before they're a CFO.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. I worked in public accounting for
Uh-huh.
a couple of years, passed the CPA exam, but didn't stay in public accounting.
Yeah.
And worked as a financial controller at a private company, and then work for the tribe in finance and then the college. So,
Well,
Where'd you come from? Where'd you grow up?
I graduated from Ione High School in Morrow County.
oh wow.
So-
Little teeny, huh?
Yeah, so my family has a dryland wheat farm in Morrow County.
Dryland beef farm?
Yeah.
Wheat farm,
Oh, wheat. Oh.
Yes.
And still do?
yes.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome. You're like Eastern Oregon.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and a lot of people who haven't been out to that area, I mean, that's vast. You know, it's a different kind of
Yes.
vastness. Yeah.
It is not as many trees
Right.
as over here.
Yeah.
Which is, I love it over here. You've got the trees, you've got the mountains, you've got, Grand Ronde River to go rafting, you've got
Yeah.
Wallowa Lake. Yeah, lots of things to do here. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and I know that, and again, in that structure, the city council really is your boss. They're the ones that hire you.
Yes.
But the day-to-day activities are managed by the city manager.
Correct.
And so I understand that this question is really, it involves you, but it also involves the city council. But what do you kind of, as you guys look forward, what are some of the things that you want to do better at? I mean, and I know that that's a big, with a small town, that's a big question. But, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to?
Well, there are some plans that need to be updated that have not been updated, such as the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan takes into account, what does your housing inventory look like? What do your streets look like? What do you envision for the future of your community? It involves supporting local business. What's your economic development plan? So the comprehensive plan brings all of that into one document, and it has not been updated for 20 years plus. And so that's one thing that we need to work on, because I want to know what the community wants in their little town. So I would like to improve the opportunities for local businesses. There's never enough money for streets.
Right. Never.
Never.
Anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And update the plan for long-term planning for the water and the sewer. So I would like to help improve the future plans for Union.
Yeah. Now, and the one thing that I've learned from being on boards and such is that there's a city or a board. I mean, most of the time you're just dealing with what is the next thing that has to happen, or you're putting out fires a tremendous amount of the time. It's like, okay, how do we find the money to pay for this, or how do we, whatever it might be. And so, and what gets sacrificed in that process is exactly what you're talking about. It's the planning. It's the future looking, and especially if those fires consume you, you're so, I mean, it's almost negative. It's like, well, what's the point of planning ahead when we're stuck in the mire that we're in right now, But unless you plan, unless you forecast, you're never going to get there.
No, you can't manage what you can't measure. So
Yeah.
you need to have a plan to be able to measure whether you're being able to accomplish what you set out to do. And being able to get on the other side of those fires to where you're doing things in a preventative measure instead of constantly putting out the fires.
Right.
It usually costs less money to be able to do the preventative things instead of, okay, we need to do this right now and this is how much it's going to cost. Being able to plan forward so that you're using the money that you do have the most efficiently.
Yeah. Well, and I was talking earlier with you how I'm pleased with how Union over the last several years is just kind of standing up. And Buffalo, the Thunder at the Peak is one of those things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dana has done a fabulous job at the golf course there. Beautiful grounds. So it's definitely one of the jewels of
Yeah.
City of Union.
Yeah, when Buffalo Peak stole Dana from LeGrand, like I knew Buffalo Peak was going to get a lot better. No, I mean it was just what he did at LeGrand, and then just his passion for maintaining a golf course and keeping people interested in golf and just everything golf related. Kids, you know what I mean? This
Right.
youth thing that he does, he's bringing out companies to do demos. Like there's just a lot going on, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and we're trying to. I mean, Dana and I have been in this conversation for a long time, but we're trying to get a weather cam. We have a weather cam on the corner of this building, and we're trying to get a weather cam out at Buffalo Peak. So then it benefits Buffalo Peak and it benefits us, So we're trying to navigate that process. But it still is just. I mean, I love what you guys are doing out there. And something that's kind of interesting that some people might not know is that some of the ponds at Buffalo Peak
Yes.
are the end part of
Correct.
the recycling sewer system of
Yes.
the City of Union. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about that just a little bit so people can understand that.
Okay. Well, during certain times of the year, we do discharge our treated water to the ponds up at the golf course, and it helps to nourish the grounds
Right.
there. There are times during the year that we discharge to Catherine Creek, but there are rules and regulations as to how much we can discharge into the creek, and other towns do that as well. Elgin discharges into their creek there. So there are times that we cannot be in the creek at all, and the golf course, the ponds up there allow us to continue to operate our wastewater treatment plant. So.
And this is treated water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have anything floating in it.
No.
Right. But the way Buffalo Peak uses that though, it's
Yes.
into a pond, and then they
Yes.
literally use that for irrigation.
Yes, that
Yeah.
is correct.
Which is
Yeah. So it's a win-win.
yeah, no, that's a fascinating. That's an awesome partnership.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was part of the original planning when
Correct.
Buffalo Peak was
Yes.
established and started. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you, and thank you for being here. And this
Yeah.
it's nice to meet you. And we've been trying to connect with somebody at the city level from Union.
Sure. Okay.
We'd love to have.
Great to be
Now,
here.
yeah. Now that you've been on, maybe you can tell the mayor, because I remember I talked to her a couple of months ago and said, "Hey,
Okay.
you should come on one of the shows." And like,
The City of Union's watching right now.
Yeah.
They just made a comment.
Excellent.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
I'll
probably
be
a
to work
coworker.
right after this, guys.
They said they're thankful for you, and the city is lucky to have you.
yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's a great group of people to work with. Several of them have been there for 20 years. So I'm very much enjoying working with the city. So.
Yeah, and I understand that position, because somebody coming in from the outside, you see things that a native they've just forgotten, and those little things. I say this fairly often, but part of a business growing or a city growing or whatever those things, a lot of that is just removing obstacles, and it's just like.
Yeah.
When you come in the front doors of a business, if there's an ugly garbage can, or if it doesn't look neat or whatever, there's some things that are easy to fix. It's just somebody has to see them to fix
Right,
them. Yeah.
right. Sometimes you just get used to the garbage can being
Right.
there and you just don't even see it.
Right.
I mean, case in point, one of the first things that I did when I arrived at the City of Union was looking at, okay, where's the money? Where do we hold our money? Are we getting the best bang for our buck? They weren't holding their money in the local government investment pool. So they were missing out on $100,000 of interest income annually.
Right.
So that was one of the first things that I did. Let's bring in more income, make our money work for the city.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and let's tell. I mean, I was out at the city council, and there was it sounded like part of that there was an arrangement that you guys were trying to work out with
The bank?
Old West.
Yes.
I mean, did that
Yes.
work? I mean,
Yes.
tell that story, because that's a cool story. Yeah, no.
Well, they're not offering it to anyone else yet.
Right.
So Old West is where we kept our money, and they gave us the rate that anyone else was getting for money in a bank account, which was under 1%.
Yeah.
Whereas the local government investment pool was 5.5%. So they came to us and said, "Hey, we heard you guys are looking to move, most of your money to the local government investment pool. We were going to keep money at the bank for operations, etc." And they said, we're going to match that rate. We're going to match the rate at the local government investment pool. I had tried doing that with other banks throughout, the 11, 12 years, and none of them were willing to do that. And Old West was willing to do that. So that's been fabulous.
Well, and to back up from there, Old West made a deliberate, they moved their bank into, just getting that branch there
Yeah.
probably 5 years ago. Again, that was very intentional on their part, because I can't remember the bank that was there, U.S. Bank or Community Bank. I can't remember which
Bank,
one it was.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah. So then they left, and then it left Union without
Right.
a bank.
Yes,
Which
correct.
people don't understand how complicated that, but that is. And
Yeah.
so then Old West, most of the time banks will not sell their buildings to each other. But Old West negotiated a thing with that previous bank, and they moved into that. They invested a lot of effort
Sure.
to get
Yes.
into Union.
So that was a win-win, because I would like to keep money local.
Right.
But you have limited funds in the
Right.
city, so you have to make sure that the money is working
Yeah.
for you. So
Yeah. So shout out to Bob Kavanaugh, who's one of my friends, and I'm sure that I know that he was essential, and the owner, Ken, or not the owner, but the president, Ken, down in John Day area.
yeah,
They've just been very hands-on to be active in smaller communities.
yeah.
And
I was talking with
Ken Olson, is that his name? Yeah. Anyhow.
I was talking with a friend of mine who's also a city manager, and telling him about that relationship, and what's the name of this bank?
Yeah.
So they wanted to know, but they're not in the area that Old West services, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
So, good. Well, hey, thank you again. Thanks
Hang
for-
on, back
go
to
ahead.
the reason why you're here.
Yeah.
okay,
Thunder at the Peak.
yes,
Is this going to be your first year there?
yes.
So what are you looking forward to?
Oh, the vendors. I'd like to watch the cornhole tournament. The public, seeing everyone.
That's my
and-
favorite part.
And the
Just-
fireworks.
just
Yeah.
seeing everybody come together and not for something cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of people show up.
Yeah.
It's quite remarkable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Don't miss it. So,
Thunder at the Peak, July 4th. 5 o'clock cornhole tournament, 6 to 9 vendors. Fireworks start at dark.
yeah, the cornhole tournament is at the Baptist Church.
It is. And the
Which is-
vendors are downtown.
Yeah. So, all righty. Well, hey, you want to get us out of here?
Let's do it.
All right.
On this day, so today's June 27th, 1652, New Amsterdam, which is now known as New York City, enacts the first speed limit law in North America. It must have been for horses. Like there weren't cars. And I don't think they were putting speed limits on people running. Right?
Yeah.
1778, the Liberty Bell returns home after the British departure. 1898, on this day, Canadian adventurer Joshua Slocum arrives in Newport, Rhode Island, completing the first solo circumnavigation of the globe. He was in a fishing boat, and he went all the way around the globe in the ocean. That's kind of cool.
What year was that?
1898. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't even imagine. 1923, on this day, Captain Lowell Smith and Lieutenant John Richter performed the first ever area refueling. and they did it in a DH-4B biplane. So the first time a plane got refueled in the air was 1923. That's 101 years ago.
That's crazy.
Wow. 1950 on this day, North Korean troops reached Seoul, causing the UN to ask member states to aid South Korea. This is when Harry Truman officially got the United States involved. So that, the war started, I think it started on Tuesday, like a couple days ago.
Right.
In 1950.
Right.
But we didn't actually get involved until the Air Force and the Navy went into Korea on this day.
In
1950.
what year?
1950.
Okay.
Yep. 1972 on this day, legendary video game and home computer Atari Inc. is founded by Nolan Bushnell and Ted Damney in Sunnyvale, California. I had an Atari when I was a kid.
Did you ever play Pong?
Of course.
Of course, yeah.
Pitfall, Pong, Tanks. 2003 on this day, the United States National Do Not Call Registry formed to combat unwanted telemarketing calls and administered by the Federal Trade Commission enrolls 750,000 people on the first day.
Yeah, like that's made a big difference.
It really has.
Yeah.
Well, it did for a while until, like, it did on home phones, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But cell phones, no. Yeah. But cell phones are good nowadays. They tell you, like, if it's spam.
It's better.
Yeah, it's way better. 2023 on this day, Ryan Seacrest is announced as the new host of the World Wheel of Fortune, replacing Pat Sajak this year. So, yep, Ryan Seacrest will be the new host of Wheel of Fortune.
Starting when?
It says 2024, so I would imagine sometime soon if he
maybe
hasn't started
anytime,
yet.
huh?
I don't watch it. I don't know. I don't watch TV. So,
Yeah.
But he will be the host. Pat Sajak is retiring if he hasn't already. I don't know. The number one movie in the country on this day in 2004, Fahrenheit 9/11. Michael Moore documentary about politics, George W. Bush, the Iraq War, and the media coverage during the war. And also an analysis of the dreadful day in September of 2001. In honor of the Olympics being right around the corner, the quote of the day comes from four-time Olympic gold medalist gymnast Olga Korbut. And the quote is, "The ability to conquer oneself is no doubt the most precious of all things sports bestows." One more time. The ability to conquer oneself is no doubt the most precious of all things sports bestows. Yeah. That's it. That's
That
it.
is. And gymnastics, that's coming up. Is that in this Olympics
Yeah.
or is that a winter? I
think it's.
I can't remember.
Is it summer?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Summer. Yeah, because you got like skating in the winter. Yeah, I think it is summer.
No, that's always.
Don't really pay much attention to gymnastics either.
See, I followed that over the years. Yeah, I remember when she did her thing, Olga Korbut. Yeah.
Was that in the 70s or the 80s?
No, that was the 40s, dude. That's
No,
the
it
kind
was
of joke
not
he
the
would make.
40s.
No, that was in the 70s. Yeah,
Was it in
and
the
Nadia
70s?
Comaneci, she was kind of in that same era.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Cool.
Hey, thank you, Celeste, for being here.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, really.
Thanks for having me.
Really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
And just Thunder at the Peak, it's exciting. Get out there and check it out. I mean, you won't be disappointed.
That's right. And that's next Thursday. Yeah.
Next Thursday.
Yeah.
Starting at 5, cornhole tournament.
All right. We'll see you soon.